Oh, this is mad, isn't it? This is all completely mad.
You should have shut your mouth. And if
Is that she thinks it's going to be great. You can be really nasty.
William secured it in writing today. No leak, no background briefing, no friend of a friend leaking what the Prince of Wales allegedly thinks. A direct vow from the King at Balmoral, Harry and Meghan Markle, will never return as working royals.
Markle out of the UK.
Balmoral in August is meant to be a true getaway. The hunting, the private picnics, the entire dynasty together for the 2 weeks when nobody is on duty. Today it shifted into something far darker. The debate behind those castle walls was never about whether Harry and Meghan Markle are welcome in Britain. It was about which rooms they could enter. Remember that detail? The rooms. We will come back to that.
A promise from King Charles that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will not officially return as working royals.
Because that defines this entire saga. Two figures spending 5 long years demanding entry into someone else's estate, while figures across 2 continents keep shutting the door.
Balmoral now, this is where the royals always have a holiday at this time of year there, but it has turned into a kind of emergency crisis summit about what the royal family are going to do about this pair of ingrates, the Sussexes, coming back from America.
Every senior working royal stood in that room. It was not a planned summit, but a summer retreat suddenly hijacked by reality. Consider what that truly represents. Balmoral is the single sanctuary where the Windsor family stops playing the royal roles. It was where the late Queen felt most at peace, where this dynasty gathers as actual kin rather than a formal crown institution. Yet this year, the institution followed them right up the estate driveway.
Summit happening right now at Balmoral Castle, attended by most senior royals. Prince William is there, Princess Anne is there, the Tyndalls are there, Edward is there, Sophie is there, is becoming so significant. William
and the sharp briefing emerging from that estate today never originated from the King's camp.
Briefing to their close ally in the royal rota, Russell Myers of the Daily Mirror, who reported today Prince William is adamant there can be no way back for Harry and Meghan. Friends of the couple saying while they cannot forgive the Sussexes, what Harry and Meghan choose to do is up to them. As far as William and Catherine are concerned, they have left that period of their lives behind them.
That marks the first shut door, an official royal return, locked shut by William and Catherine with the King's backing. Then comes the second barrier.
Yes, but I've heard that the King is having a long conversation with William to work out how they can do it. They have already said that they don't want them to come up for any things that they're doing, Christmas or anything. They're not going to take part in that. So as a first move, I think that's not too bad.
Christmas plans vanish before their plane even touched the tarmac. That iconic image Britain associates with the royals, the morning walk to church, the United Line, the nation watching, will not include the Sussexes. Now, the third door.
Confirming what I have long reported, William has not spoken in person to his brother since the late Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. That was in September 2022, and they have not.
2.5 years. Not one call, not one text. 2 estranged brothers, 1 homeland, a single shared funeral, and absolute silence since. Here is the reveal that should give everyone pause.
A royal source, referring to Catherine's cancer battle, said during that time of considerable uncertainty for the family, while there were some mutterings that Harry was prepared to.
Harry, reports suggest, stood ready to step in and assist, yet the royals examined the offer, measured the cost, and decided it held no value. Let that sink in. They did not cite bad timing. They did not claim wounds were raw. Nobody considered his assistance worthwhile. His own flesh and blood, enduring their most brutal year in a generation, chose to struggle alone without him, and that stance remains unchanged today.
And says, but surely before Harry and Meg's get out the party streamers and welcome home banners for themselves, Harry owes his poor pa a very public apology. Not a phone call, not a private word over tea at Highgrove, public, said where the country that mourned Elizabeth II can hear it.
Royal biographer Robert Jobson is no tabloid sensationalist. Jobson has chronicled this king for decades, and what he now demands is neither a quiet call nor a discreet whisper at Highgrove. Spoken plainly, in public, where the entire nation can listen. That outlines the British fortress. Every entrance barred, with one bolted tight this morning, leaving behind the only essential question, why bother trying to return at all?
That's all dried up. I do feel for His Majesty King Charles. I send my condolences.
That was the immediate conclusion everyone drew today cold cash, and today delivered an undeniable financial reckoning. We must be exact here, because skeptics love trying to dismiss claims like this. This is no palace gossip. It does not come from anonymous insiders. It came straight from a judge presiding in a courtroom this week.
Have to pay a significant amount of costs. They wanted to pay £7.5 million this month. The judge said, no, for now, you pay £9.5 million. But, and this is the big but, your total bill is uncapped.
£9.5 million due this month against a mounting legal tab that carries no ceiling at all. Picture that. There is no limit, yet money only marks the timeline. It fails to explain the true motive. If this were purely about mounting court expenses, observers would expect a predictable narrative. Two public figures who launched a brand in America only to watch it crumble, contracts drying up, a commercial peak in the rearview mirror. That is not what occurred here. The genuine reality is vastly stranger, surfacing today across American media, while almost nobody throughout Britain has caught on yet.
This is their exclusive reporting. Delusional Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sought US political clout far beyond dreams of any royal since King George III, the Post has learned, with the Duchess of Sussex angling to take over the Senate seat held by Kamala Harris.
A United States Senate seat, the California position once held by Kamala Harris, not a philanthropic post, not a diplomatic appointment, pure political power in Washington. Markle sought an official private meeting with California Governor Gavin Newsom, aiming to secure an appointment to Harris's vacated Senate seat right before Harris took office as vice president on January 20th, 2021. Insiders revealed the meeting was spun as a casual California welcome just to keep prying eyes away from the truth. Just look at how they handled the entire thing. A private sit-down with the California governor was framed as a simple, neighborly welcome, specifically arranged so no one would ask what they really wanted. But that is not the shocker. This is the real story.
To late 2021, and both Harry and Meghan requested an Oval Office meeting with Joe Biden, as well as accommodation at nearby Blair House. That is a perk reserved for foreign leaders on state visits, multiple sources say. White House staff quickly rejected the idea, with one source noting the spectacle of Harry and Meghan sitting down with the leader of the free world would have caused a major diplomatic kerfuffle with number 10 Downing Street.
They demanded Blair House. But Blair House is not some luxury hotel. It is far beyond a prestigious Washington address. Blair House is the official estate reserved exclusively for visiting world leaders and heads of state. Presidents stay there, prime ministers stay there, sovereign monarchs sleep there. Harry and Meghan Markle essentially asked for the Oval Office and a private bed inside it. Let that sink in. And the reason the White House shut him down is the most brutal part of the tale. Two individuals with no official role, office, or diplomatic standing would have sparked an international crisis with Downing Street and the King just by showing up. They never truly walked away from monarchy. They tried rebuilding the royal court on sunnier shores, but America took one look and slammed the door shut.
Former Biden aide said the president and First Lady Jill Biden, long-standing admirers of Queen Elizabeth II, didn't want to get into a family squabble by hosting the rogue royals. Ultimately, the couple's attempt to become kingmakers fizzled out, similar to their ambitions in Hollywood and the lifestyle space.
Rogue royals. That phrase came straight from a former Biden aide, and the underlying reason was not about partisan politics. The Bidens deeply respected Queen Elizabeth II and refused to step into a bitter family feud, and look at what that cost Harry.
At the Invictus Games, the sporting event for wounded veterans founded by Harry in 2014, but she ultimately stopped attending the Games after she became First Lady in January 2021, due once again to the optics surrounding Harry's departure from the UK. So
Jill Biden attended the Invictus Games constantly. She vanished the exact moment she became First Lady. Not over the wounded veterans, but because of the toxic optics of standing beside Harry. Invictus was the single triumph he had built with real public respect. Yet the First Lady of the United States quietly pulled back because his brand had turned into a massive political liability.
This proves their ambitions in America were huge. I mean, Meghan Markle literally thought that she was going to walk in and become the US Senator for California. And my reporting, remember at the time, is that ultimately she did believe that that would lead to a White House run. So, I mean, their grand plans have collapsed.
Consider the American checklist. Senate seat denied. Oval Office denied. Blair House denied. The First Lady supporting Invictus completely gone. And every single rejection came from Washington insiders who had absolutely zero stake in a British royal feud. Not Prince William, not Buckingham Palace, not London tabloids. American officials evaluated the demands purely on merit and decided they were totally inappropriate. Then the entire commercial foundation collapsed beneath them, leaving their Hollywood empire crumbling into absolute irrelevance. The momentum died fast. The massive Netflix deal fizzled out, and their podcast empire at Spotify hit a complete dead end. Netflix lost all its steam. Spotify pulled the plug, proving the only bankable asset they ever possessed was the royal family. They spent 5 years trashing.
That can unite all of America. This is the first thing we've been able to agree upon in over a decade. Meghan and Harry are leaving. Praise Jesus. They're going. Get back to the UK. Go become somebody else's problem. We're sick.
And America is not shedding tears over their departure. That harsh verdict is not just coming from British tabloids. That is mainstream American television broadcasting live that their fallout is the only thing this divided nation has agreed on in a decade, leaving just one final American door open for now.
Decision, given that he hates Britain and he thinks we're all racist and it's a dangerous place to bring his kids up, maybe he's on the run from the US because perhaps, I'm speculating, maybe he is about to be caught out in terms of his visa application, and maybe ICE may well otherwise be knocking at his door.
Sure, that remains speculation, and Russell Quirk openly labels it as such right as he speaks. But what is absolute fact is the official paperwork underneath it. Freedom of information demands were filed over Harry's immigration visa, with a court ruling expected by mid-October. Notice the bigger picture taking shape either way. The most generous take on their American dream is that they simply hit a wall. The brutal reality is they fled with the jet headed straight back to Britain. So how does Britain really feel?
People of varying ages today finding that just 21% of the public believe Harry and Meghan should return to Britain. 33% said they should not. Those figures are only exacerbated when focus is put on the answers of those aged 65 or older, with just 20% of the belief that Harry and Meghan should relocate to the UK.
Only 21% of 5,000 citizens polled want them back, and the numbers plummet among older generations.
The people of this country really do not want this pair to be completely forgiven and all their sins forgotten. They don't want that.
They haven't even apologised. They haven't even apologised.
Exactly. They want William and Catherine in particular, but also Anne, also Edward, all of them to stay strong and say, no, you don't just waltz back into this family, and you certainly don't get £5 million worth of taxpayer.
Zero apology. That is the bitter reality that keeps resurfacing. 5 relentless years of allegations, a tell-all memoir, a bombshell Netflix docuseries, and not a single word of remorse. Now, the massive bill lands squarely on taxpayers who were never consulted.
Do you notice he's just pushing this line, isn't he? They just have to get their security paid for by us. That's why this is going to become a massive political hot potato, because we don't want to pay £5 million a year, as Di Davies predicts, for these grifters who thinks we're racist and who have spent years slagging off the British royal family and the UK itself.
£5 million every year in taxpayer cash to guard two people who publicly branded the entire nation as racist.
You remember that an armored car now, a BMW or a Mercedes or any of these top end, will cost you nearly £500,000 to have what's known as a B7. In other words, it will protect you from most attacks by a gun, explosion, and all the rest of it. So presumably, as they're so paranoid about their safety, they will have to go and take the children to school in these armored cars to and from. So that's $1 million before you.
A former chief of royal security ran the cold numbers out loud. £500,000 for an armored vehicle alone. A full $1 million before hiring a single bodyguard.
Be so worried about security. Boy, who the hell advises them? As I've said before, it must be the same people who advised their Uncle Andrew, because in my opinion, they're totally off the scale of nonsenses. And frankly, I think most of us are fed up to the teeth of hearing about the pair of them. I wish they'd go somewhere, but don't come here.
And there it is, the Andrew comparison.
And right there lies that devastating Prince Andrew comparison. Not from random internet trolls, but from the man who directed royal protection himself. Let that sink in. The very veteran tasked with keeping the monarchy alive just linked Harry and Meghan Markle's security instincts directly to the one disgraced royal. The entire institution severed all ties with... While every single palace door slammed shut this week, take note of what the Sussexes were busy planning.
It looks like Meghan has essentially just got off on the worst possible foot for someone who is looking to relocate to another country.
Because there was going to be a job.
Not confirmed, okay? However, what is confirmed is that there is absolutely no consideration for that woman, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, to be considered for any role on the Netflix show, The Gentleman.
A cameo in season 3 of Guy Ritchie's Netflix drama, framed as a massive comeback worth £1 million.
One that was going to give her £1 million. So she must have been delighted and think, oh, yes, I'll come, it's fine. But actually, he's run away because he thinks, obviously, she's speaking too much, she's talking too much.
Yeah, looks like that's not happening, the gentleman thing. Tina Brown, the former very close friend of Princess Diana, who's very in with royal circles, said that she's hearing that offer, the potential offer of a role in the 3rd series of The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie's Netflix TV series, has been withdrawn because Ritchie has decided...
Tina Brown has never been a regular Sussex critic. She authored the definitive royal biographies and knew Princess Diana closely. Brown revealed the sudden public fury proved so fierce the project collapsed immediately. But here is the truly shocking twist.
There was no Netflix announcement. There was no Guy Ritchie announcement saying that we're going to have Meghan in our 3rd season. There wasn't even an official commissioned season 3 for that matter. So how can you even have someone attached to something that wasn't even confirmed to even be in production?
A 3rd season had never been greenlit. So who leaked the story?
I just have one question. Who leaked this story? Who leaked it, y'all?
Someone leaked a completely non-existent role straight to the press. And the public effectively killed Meghan Markle's comeback before a single contract had ever been drafted anywhere.
Yesterday, and it is absolutely unbelievable how the turnaround happened within
under 24 hours. That is how briefly that comeback lived. One day to be launched, mocked, shut down, and erased in one news cycle. That is not bad luck. That is an entire nation rejecting an offer before it was officially made. This connects right back to the central crisis, because that phantom Hollywood job cannot be separated from what unfolded behind closed doors at Balmoral.
But I was with Harry for 13 months, 15 months when I wrote his biography. I really, really liked him. He was so nice, he was easy, he was good. And then Meghan came, and And I was with him for a while about that, but he changed immediately. She had to win. She had to.
15 months. That is the exact time a royal biographer spent shadowing Prince Harry before the chaos began. She found him warm, charming, and decent. Then everything shifted drastically overnight into an atmosphere of utter destruction.
He will be reveling in the fact that their return is causing chaos for King Charles and his family. She wants to destroy the royal family.
Yes. She's one of these people, there are not many of them, that actually can't bear losing. She has to win. You know, she tried to win even to get in front of the line of the royal family when they were going out, when the Queen was there. And, you know, it doesn't matter. Meghan's got to win. And
that is personal observation, but from someone standing in the room. And today, the entire British commentary class landed on that exact same conclusion.
Disagree. I think, no offense, but I think Meghan Markle is incredibly dangerous. She tried to destroy our monarchy with lies about racism, and I don't want her back.
so now he's coming back with a lot of power and determination, and will do it his way, and he's absolutely going to ruin it. So the fact that he's saying that he wants to see his father and how he cares for him.
Because that remains the real charge. Not that Harry decided to return home. The claim was Harry flying back for his ailing father battling cancer, while every single logistical detail of this visit signaled a very different motive.
He's done, there was one royal place he was going to stay, Harry, for a day, because he's then going off to look after a charity, which is children who are not well, and he does something there. Now, the royal family, the royal place is a royal place, and that's an inn with the royal family. The other one with the children is not. So he's already proven that it's in and out.
A lightning visit. One brief palace appearance for a single afternoon, followed immediately by private business totally detached from the crown. Chasing royal prestige without royal duties, the very arrangement Washington flatly rejected, and the exact loophole Prince William secured a firm promise against today.
All I need to say is this looks bad for Meghan, and I can't imagine wanting to now go live in the United Kingdom, like be a real full, whole-grown person living in the United Kingdom, and people are just losing their minds because you got a role on a show that is shot in Great Britain. That tells you better think twice about going back to the UK.
Look at the actual accommodations. The physical rooms reveal the full story, and the options have dwindled down to almost nothing. No Buckingham Palace, no Windsor Castle, no Highgrove, no Blair House, no Oval Office, no Sandringham Stroll, and no working royal status whatsoever.
At all.
I think that if they can't get a home, they can go and stay with Charles Spencer, Harry's uncle, and he can do that. But I think the whole thing is that the aura.
That is where the road stops. No Buckingham Palace, no Windsor, no Highgrove. Crashing in an uncle's guest room was floated as the realistic fix because the royals controlling the palaces slammed the door. They once asked Washington for quarters reserved for heads of state. Now they return asking an uncle for a cramped guest room. And the ironclad pledge Prince William extracted today ensures the single door that truly mattered. The path back into the working monarchy remains locked tight with his own father's word holding it shut. To see how Prince William pushed his own father to agree to those terms, watch the video appearing on screen right now. The Highgrove showdown and the cold rejection that sparked this fallout. Same drama 6 weeks before.